Hello my friends, Dragos now back with a video that I've been thinking a lot of time of doing since the season of Castlevania 2 came out, season 2. Well, I totally fell in love with the new season. Like it was something that it did this huge impact in me. So I've been thinking a lot of I got to make a video of this. I had to put my thoughts about what I really feel and how excited and how full of light do I feel about the existence of this animated series of Castlevania. Um, so I don't know. I got a lot of things to say, so I guess I'm gonna go step by step and say that if by any chance you're new to this channel and you find this video by any random chance and you decide to give it a look or whatever, just want to say that I've been a huge Castlevania lover and fan ever since the original NES games came out. You know, and that is pretty much around 1986 or 87, which I think it was the first time when I played the original Castlevania, and then Simon's Quest, and then Castlevania 3, sorry, Dracula's Curse, which is the game where this series is based on. Well, it's mostly like based on Castlevania 3, Symphony of the Night, and Curse of Darkness. Um, which Curse of Darkness and Castlevania 3 events are really tied together really well. So it makes sense that characters from Curse of Darkness appear in this one. So since the very beginning, since season one, I've been really happy with the series and really excited about it. And when I first heard that the series was coming out, I just could not believe it. I thought it was like a very strange dream coming to reality. At the same time, I was nervous because I was like, oh god, what about if it sucks? What about if it's made by the wrong people? The wrong producers, the wrong artists. And then I was like, so impressed to see that, like, yeah, this is going in the right direction. This is looking great. I cannot wait to see it. And when I saw it, it went beyond my own expectations because I thought it was better or what I had in my mind it could be. Well, I mean, for the most part, some things are lacking. Like some things um, could have been done in a way. I don't know. I don't want to say better, but it could have been in other ways. Um, Not exactly sure what is that detail that I had in my mind, but there's some moments when you are like, oh man, this moment right here, it could have been more like this, but whatever, it's really great for what it is. And I really love season one. I love this version of Trevor Belmont, of Cypher Bernaldez, Alucard, and the new Dracula, the Dracula of this series, which in my mind, he is very, very similar to the Dracula from Castlevania Lords of Shadows, to the Gabriel Belmont Dracula after he became Dracula. He reminds me more of that Dracula rather than the complete, sinister, super black-hearted Dracula that they put in other Castlevania games, such Castlevania 64, which that Dracula was a complete mindless beast, a mindless demon. Or if you see the Dracula in Rondo of Blood, he was kind of like that too, which is the game I'm playing in the background right now. Decided to add some clips of me playing random games such Castlevania or something related to Castlevania, and but yeah, I was very happy with the way all these characters, all these iconic classic characters that were portrayed, because in my eyes, to me, these are pretty much the majority of the characters that to me stand as the biggest icons of gaming history. Since to me, like when I think about my favorite characters from gaming history, I think about, first of all, I always think about characters from Castlevania, such Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont, Sypha. But then, of course, I think about all the characters like Link of Zelda, Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden is another great franchise I grew up loving and playing. So yeah, but also there's other icons, for gaming. Like when I think about, I don't know, Spencer, the guy from Bionic Commando, the original NES Bionic Commando. To me, that's another classic. And Strider, Hero Strider from the Strider game is another one. From the NES version game and the arcade, etc. But it's something about Castlevania that is was always that special game to me. Probably because it was the very first game of that kind that I ever played, and as a kid, it really, it did this huge impact in my mind. Um, so I always had this I don't know, these thoughts of the character in my brain or my mind, like how I view them and how, I don't know, how they should be in an animated series or in a movie or whatever. So this is why I'm really happy with this series, because for the for the most part they really nail it. They did all the characters right, all of them. Um, but I mean, I have some exceptions that I'm gonna discuss later on. But as a core, the main, most important characters, like Trevor Belmont, Sypha, Alucard, Dracula. I mean, they were like perfectly spot on, So it was also great to see that this animated series is not a PG-13 version of what Castlevania should be. I'm very happy that it's a very mature um, type of animated series that it has a lot of likeness to the type of um, I don't know, hardcore elements that you see in other great anime such Berserk or Claymore, um, especially Berserk, man. I'm very happy that every time I see the Castlevania animated series, I think of Berserk, because I'm like, yeah, this is how Castlevania should be, man. It should be dark, it should be gritty, it should be like, I don't know, man. It should be horror too, It's supposed to be horror, and even if not all the Castlevania games are portrayed in that hardcore way, it will always be very inspired on classic horror. Um, so that's the thing I love about Castlevania 2, that it's very inspired on all those classic icons from horror, such Dracula, the Mummy, um, and many other things like Nosferatus and vampires and werewolves um, and all the cool stuff, man. Van Helsing, yeah, Van Helsing is one of those things where you know I'm pretty sure the Belmont family was inspired of. He's one of the inspirations, that's for sure. And sure, the Bram Stoker novel or Bram Stoker's Dracula is also another big. It's another huge factor that did a huge impact on Castlevania. But well, I don't know. I grew up loving Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2, 3, 4. Um, like to me, my favorite of all time will always be 2, 3, and 4. Um, I really think that Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, is really a very underrated classic. And in a lot of regards, to me, it's a masterpiece. Um, and from the standards of the NES, it really attempted a lot of great new things that that they were like too ambitious for the time for a console like the NES. Like talking about making the first like real Metroidvania experience, which is a open world with a lot of RPG elements and a lot of very different elements that there wasn't before. Um, a lot of people got turned off on that just because it wasn't the adventure, the action adventure like it was the original Castlevania 3, which But I don't know. I always love Castlevania 3. I always love his characters. I love how awesome the world of it felt and how big and massive and the fact that you have multiple paths and multiple characters that you can play and switch while you're playing and each path may lead you to a different type of ending depending the character you are as and all that. So I mean, it's great. I think every Castlevania game holds their own beauty. At the same time, I'm also always been a huge fan of all the 3D Castlevania for the most part. The only one I didn't consider too much it was Judgment. I think it's Judgment, the one. It's like the fighter game. And probably the main reason that turned me off is because the character design and the way that they arbitrarily changed the look of all of them, and they felt like I don't know, they felt like they were trying to be the character, like they were being like a wannabe version of them, and not like the real thing. So, but I am a huge fan of Castlevania 64, Castlevania Lament of Innocence, Castlevania Curse of Darkness, Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I fucking adore Lords of Shadow to death. But yeah, talking about Curse of Darkness, another thing that I really love is the hero from Curse of Darkness, Hector, the Devil Frost Master. He appeared in the season 2, and the first time I heard about that, I thought it was like a rumor that somebody did in a comment in one of my pages, and I was like, somebody say. It looks like Hector's gonna appear in season 2, and I was like, wow, man, you know what? That would be like probably too good to be real because I don't know, Hector, he's one of those characters that I really love from this universe. Like, I'm all about the Belmont clans. To me, the Belmonts and, well, and Dracula, they're always gonna come first. And they are the heart and soul of Castlevania, right? But Hector, he's one of those very few characters that he's a non-Belmont that I will put in the same place with the Belmont family. Same goes for Alucard. But of course, I don't know. I like both versions of Alucard. The one where the original that came and the version of him being Trevor Belmont from Lords of Shadow. But that's another story. The thing is that I was like really shocked and really happy when it was confirmed that Hector was there. When I was watching the first episode, he appeared walking among the people, and I was watching the show with my lady, and she was watching the show with me. Luckily for me, she's a huge Castlevania fan, and we were watching the show together. Bless her soul. She's just a great lady, and I love the fact she shared a lot of my nerdiness for things such this. She's been always a huge Castlevania person too, and I was watching that with her, and when Hector appeared, I just lost my shit. Like I was like, oh my god, Hector, no way! And I was like, in that moment I knew that, oh man, this season is going to be like the best thing ever, man. And I think they did a spot on job on him. He looked like perfect, like it looks like a perfect version of him of this animated version. And I don't know, Hector is one of those characters that I can feel that I can even relate to it in a lot of ways. So I even had the animated novels of him. There's two novels that they came of. It was like a prequel story to the event of Curse of Darkness to give you background on him and Trevor Belmont and Isaac and all that. So that to me it was like, when I heard that rumor, I was like, it would make perfect sense if he appears because the event of Curse of Darkness and Dracula 3, they are tied together. I think Curse of Darkness is around 3 years after Castlevania 3, something around there. I don't remember right, but it's very close. So it made perfect sense that he appeared there. Of course, this is supposed to be before the event of Curse of Darkness, right? Um, Now, if you don't want some spoilers, I know I'm gonna be doing some spoilers because there's no point at all of making a review like this about something and not be able to talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, well, I don't know. I suggest you to please go watch this amazing new season and then come back to the video. I don't want to ruin it for you, but if you're clicking in a video like this, then I'm expecting not to care about spoilers. So yeah. One of the spoilers that I have is that I really do not like it how he ended. Like, it did really make me sad. The ending of the season, and by that I mean, like, I literally mean sadness in a lot of ways, cause it did fuck me up a lot. What happened between Alucard and Dracula. I mean, I don't say that is one of my complaints. I actually love that part because it was very very emotional. But aside that, what something that fucks me up, it was about Hector, the way he ended, like being imprisoned by this fucking bitch Carmilla, and oh my god, I hate her so much, like what she did to him, like the way she enslaved him and turned him into her little toy, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm hoping that season three. I'm really hoping that season three will be about Hector and about Trevor. I think it's going to be about more Trevor and more Hector, and it's going to be like remaking the events of Curse of Darkness into the animated, adaptation. That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I think it should happen for the sake of continuity. At the same time, I cannot wait for a season that's gonna be all about Simon Belmont. Gosh, that is just a dream right there. But I don't want this thing to be rushed. I want to keep a pace like they were doing from the very beginning. I think the pace that they have from season one to season two was like perfect, in a lot of ways. And I think that I love the fact that they were giving a lot of depth to each character. That each character was very well developed, and and you know that when you caring for the character, when you are like when they make you feel immersed into the heart of each of these characters, so that's when you know that they're doing something great. When they are trying to tell a story and they're making a great job at it. So at the same time, I need to express, like, my gratitude and my respect and my, I don't know, love to all these developers that are involved with the series. I don't know. I make a list here, and I know that the story of the animated series, it was written by Warren Ellis, which I know that he's supposed to be one of the executive producers, along many others like Jason Williams, Ted Blasili, Fred Seinbert, Adi Shankar, Kevin Calder, I think it's the name, Kevin Cold, others like Larry Tans. So I got a lot of respect for all of them because it's people like them that makes miracles like this come to reality. And I know the director is supposed to be called Sam Dietz, and the music was really good. It was made by Trevor Trevor Morris. Just funny that the guy's name is also Trevor, but so I don't know. I don't know if any of these producers, executive producers, some of them are supposed to be the people that make the animations. But that's another thing that it should be honor and respect the people that make the animations. I really love the animations, like the flashy and awesome style that this animation has. Like when you see an action moment, it's like it's such a piece of art, the way every single frame is drawn and put into motion. Uh, I just love it. Every like saying the moment when Trevor Belmont fought Alucard the first time. That shit was just too epic, man. The animation of it and everything about it, and I also love the fact that it was a drawn or a drawn. Sorry, like it wasn't like, oh yeah, he's more powerful than him just because he's Alucard, or he's more powerful just because he's Trevor. No, I mean it's like both they were like at the same type of equal level, and I like that. I like that they leave it in a way that, wow, if they really fight together to the death, it will be like they both will kill themselves at the same time. That is fucking epic right there. But at the same time, who wants to see two beloved characters that you love, that they're supposed to be heroes, fighting each other? That just doesn't make any sense. I'm not into that type of death battle nonsense shit where you have to put two good heroes fighting each other to die just for the sake of policing the blood thirst of people. I don't know. I guess it would be okay if it makes sense, the fight, but when it's like forced and you throw it and one of them has to die, it's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't really dig that too much. Yeah, I think that the animation style were really awesome in every moment. The the action scenes that were really well done, and I don't know, for a person like me that is also an artist, and I love um, watching real well done animated series. It was great to see this because you can tell that it was made by the right um, the right artists, the right people that did the illustration work of it. So I was really happy with the style of it. Um, Also the fact that for the most part it seems that it's like real, like old traditional type of sketch work. If it's like 3D, like you know CG animated, you hardly see it. I guess you see it mostly on the environments, but that's all good because I had nothing against it. To me, CG is still art. It's like a lot of people that were giving shit to the new Berserk series just because it was mostly done in a CG way, and which I don't see what is the problem. Still look great, you know, and you follow the manga even more than the original 90 series. So I don't know, but people got to complain about everything. Um, well, I don't know. The few complaints that I see um, in this series of Castlevania is like, okay, we got a Dracula fight at the end, which I didn't thought would happen in season two. I thought I would push that for at least one more season, but which I wouldn't be really happy with that, to see if they expanded more the depth of this story. But I really did love the Dracula fight at the end. In the last moment, it was fucking good. But at the same time, when you see in the video game, you see Dracula transforming into these three, two last forms. which is one like this, I don't know, curse thing that looks like a complete, like a legion death of skulls floating on top of you, dropping acid. And then when you defeat that, it transforms into this huge devil form, right? It looks like a big, I don't know, something out of Greek myth. Um, it looks like this huge gargoyle dragon standing up, like gigantic, the size of the whole screen. So we didn't got that in this one. Also, we didn't got, um, you know, Grand Dynasty, the little pirate, acrobatic thief guy that was one of the playable characters in Castlevania 3. I don't know why he got removed from the story. It would have been really nice to have the thief type of guy, going around, jumping around, and I don't know. It shows me that probably the developers they didn't thought that he was really relevant to the story, or he's not even like an iconic character, but he's in he's in the classic game, and I know he's not as great as Alucard or Sypha or Trevor, but still he's cool, man. And I don't know. It would have been nice. I was hoping that the season, like the series, it would last like one more season, and I was like, well, maybe okay, maybe they added Hector instead, which is a great to me. It is a great um, like replacement that I don't complain because I like Hector a hell of a lot more. But I was hoping that maybe in season 3 they would add Grant, the pirate. Um, so, cause they got to be doing each character step by step, right? They got to give they got to let you get immersed on each character, which is a great thing. They did a great job on that. The way they you get immersed into each of them, and they give you a very fun arc of each character. So I was hoping that I was like, well, maybe they're gonna leave um, Grant for the last season. He appeared at the end, Also, I guess also the last complaint I have is that um, you know what the hell was about the look of Isaac? I mean, like they kept all the characters looking identical, how we remember them. Of course, there's some slight differences, but some of them were for the good. Like Trevor Belmont, he didn't look exactly as we remember him in Curse of Darkness, but it's okay because it's supposed to be years before Curse of Darkness, so the fact that he appeared with shorter hair or whatever is one thing. That's it's the same with Hector. Hector has like shorter hair, right? Like than in the game, but his hair can grow, so it's not even a big deal. But he looks identical, like how we remember him. But Isaac, I don't know, for some reason the developers they decided to turn him into this Redguard from Skyrim. He doesn't look at all like the red hair, crazy. I don't know. I guess we can call it emo-looking goth that you see in Curse of Darkness. And I'm talking only about the way he looked. I don't have any complaint about the way the character was portrayed. They did a badass job in this version of Isaac. I think he looks great. What what I'm saying is, I think the character is what I'm saying. The character was very well done, and I have zero complaint with that. I mean, he was portrayed as even more badass of what he really was in the game. Like he should, because a Devil Forge Master is supposed to be a real force, you know, to be reckoned with. Supposed to be something as strong as Dracula, So Well, in the game, I think in the game it says that it can rival death. So death itself. I think that's how the game says it. So, but I don't know. Like if he originally was portrayed as being this dark skinned guy in the game, and then they decided to turn him into a red hair guy, I would be like, wait a moment, what the hell? Why, if he was like an Afro looking guy, now he is a, Caucasian red hair guy? What's going on here? Why they changed that? But anyway, I know that's just a superficial complaint, and I just am happy that they didn't, you know, force that change on other characters. Because that would just kill the immersion for me. You don't want to see like Alucard, I don't know, looking like, I don't know, man, like some weird Arabic guy or Asian guy. Is supposed to look like how as we remember him. So anyway, I don't want this topic to sound a little bit too superficial or racist at all in any way. I think a lot of people will understand what I'm trying to say. And the problem is when they force, they go full force PC on a character, and they force a change on that character just for the sake of, I don't know, just because we wanted to. So that was my only thing, that my initial complaint. Like when I saw Isaac, I was like, wait a moment, wait, they say Isaac, where is that Isaac? What? I bet that every person that he's a huge Castlevania Curse of Darkness lover who had the same reaction. But maybe I'm thinking that since he obviously he's gonna hopefully appear on the season 3, right? Because I'm thinking that the whole next season is gonna be all about him, Hector, Trevor, and maybe Death. Maybe they're gonna explain he changed. Maybe the change that we see in the game is a change of him as a saying like a devil form that he took or something. That could totally be the case. Um, when you see that moment at the end of season 2 where you had that extra story with Isaac at the end at the desert where Dracula sent him. I thought that maybe we'll explain why he looked in this way, and then why he looks in a complete different way in Curse of Darkness. But well, we didn't get that. So also that means that if he looks like that, means that also Julia, his sister, will look different too. Because it won't make sense if she's a Caucasian blonde looking woman. Which, by the way, I love that character. I love Julia. And the first time I played Curse of Darkness, I was enjoying part of the craziness of Isaac. It's mostly probably because of the way he was animated and how crazy fucked up he looks in the cutscenes, like this like sadomasochist type of goth motherfucker, and trying to troll you the whole time and teasing you the whole time. I mean, he was, yeah, he was way more despicable in the video game version, but in this one, in the animate, it seems more like they really given it this more sort of a more honorable tone to it. Well, I know my lady, she like this version of Isaac better, and as character, yeah, he's better. You know, they did a good job making a version of him, animated version of him. That's how my lady called him, like more like a honorable version, or honorable somehow, or like dignified. Cause When you see him in the video game, he's really like a complete train wreck. But at the same time, it has his charm. Um, but again, in conclusion, I mean, I don't care at all, like what is the color and the skin of a character. That's not my complaint at all. It is like if you already was established in one way, why to change it? Like so radically, to the point where it's almost like a complete different person that you're staring at, right? I don't know. Imagine they make a new movie of Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings, and then they change Aragorn to look just like Gandalf, and he looks just like him. How you gonna feel about that? You're gonna feel like, wait a moment, what? That's kind of my point. Still, again, I'm gonna say one last time, I think they did a solid job on the personification of Isaac. Even if I don't agree with the changes, it just felt again forced, and like everybody will be like, wait, what? So they put Hector identical, and Isaac won't be identical as we remember him. So what's the reason for that? I would like to know. Probably one of the developers, they were like, we just hated the way he looked. You know, let's just be Simon Belmont, the only red hair, and that's it, and we call it a quit. Oh man. But anyway, again, I was super happy, really, really happy when Hector appeared walking in the hall, and oh yeah, we got two human Devil Forge Masters that are being summoned by Dracula. And when I saw that, I lost my shit, man. I really did. I lost my shit. Like, I totally did. Uh, but for good, in a good way. Like, it's good when a series that you are loving, it surprises you in this climatic way that bring another character that it means something to you. Because to me, Hector, he's underrated as hell, man. I can tell you that Trevor Belmont and Simon and Sypha are three of my all-time most favorite characters from this universe. But Hector is also one of them. He became one of those characters that I feel, I don't know, this connection to it. I love the way he was portrayed as this, not as this cold-hearted, sinister, necromantic type of guy. He was more like the way when you read his story on the comic book that I have, the manga. Let's call it manga. I think there's only 2 volumes of it, and I own them. He's portrayed as this guy that he's actually, I mean, he just feels like an outcast. And by the same time, it's like this very young soul about him, like someone that feels an outcast to the whole world, but at the same time, he got this special devotion and love and care for his dark beings. Well, I call it that because he cannot stand the sight of a dead animal, and so he goes and resurrects them. See, that's one thing I like about him, that he has like almost zero hope on humanity, but at the same time, he has this huge hope and devotion for the forces of nature. That's a good way to put it. Um, and I like that about him. That now I don't know if maybe in season 3 we're going to see what happened to Rosalind. The woman that he loved, and he got killed as a witch, accused as a witch, pretty much, just the same way that Lisa died. Which, by the way, I was really fucked up, man, when Lisa got killed. I like in the season 2 they get more depth into the character, because it's important to do that, because that way people will care more about the characters. The more time you give to the audience with their characters, and the more time you um you add more depth into those characters. It's always a very important thing, and I like that they did that with Lisa. Um, when I thought they did a good job in season 1, but at the same time I felt that you know they could put more on Lisa, man, just a little bit more of her background story, and understand more about her relationship with Dracula and why they're together, and what is the thing that they love of each other, and they really give us more of that, um, which was a great plus. But the same way, that Lisa got killed in a very unfair way by these fanatic religious pricks. It's the same thing that happened to the love of Hector, Rosalind. Um, the one that you hear about her in the game, but when you read the manga, she's like this very innocent priest, or a nun. I think she's more portrayed as a nun, but not like a annoying, boring nun. It's more like this very lovable young lady that you can tell that she means really well, and that she probably was like the only thing that ever meant good into the world of Hector. Probably the only person that ever treated him with kindness and love, out of all the human beings out there. Because well, when you see in the anime, the Hector parents, they were horrible people, man. Um, Apparently, the world always treated him like, you know, in very disrespectful ways. And then you see how well there is a you hear the echoes in the mind of Hector, how their parents were, you know, pleading him to don't burn him alive, which was really really dark and very hardcore. But hey man, if your parents they treat you like complete garbage, then they don't mean anything holy to you. They don't mean anything sacred to you. So it's understandable his hatred. I'm sure that by the time that he killed his own parents, he was already done with humanity. So sure he just takes shelter and the love that he feels for animals. Of course, reviving these animals it means to basically being a necromancer, right? It's an act of necromantics, which in essence is part of what he does. It's part of what a devil forge master does. Um, of course, in the universe of Castlevania, you call that an innocent devil, which is a I don't know, it's a badass way to call um, your little conjuration. Like when I play the games like the Elder Scrolls, I like to go around with characters that they do conjurations, and I had done a Hector role play in like games of Skyrim or Oblivion, and I call all the time those conjurations. I call them innocent devils because it's such a fun way to do it. Anyway, I will display in this video later on what I mean about my Hector the Devil Forge Master roleplay. I it will show there in the background because I'm also doing a series of Skyrim where he's the main character, and but right now you see me doing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Um, that clip that you see in the background, that's part of my episode number 1, which I just recently uploaded. Feels good that at least good things have been happening in Castlevania. Like the main one right now is that animated series, and also that this Requiem uh, version came for the PlayStation 4, which I'm hoping that they will also bring Curse of Darkness and Lament of Innocence and all the other good 3D Castlevania games like the Lords of Shadow Saga 2. I would love to make a series of all of those. But anyway, back to the animated series. Sorry if I don't mean to get to backtrack too much. I'm still on topic. I'm still talking about Castlevania, but yeah, you know I really did love this season so much. Like the things that did bother me a little bit, they were like minority. But some of them there were kind of a big argument, like what happened to Grand Dynasty, what happened to the acrobatic uh, companion, to the acrobat that we played in Castlevania 3. Why there's not even a reference to him at all? That's my main complaint. But for the most part, like everything about this animated series, I really love, and this is why I need to make this blog video because I need to express my emotions about it and how it made me feel, even if for me it's hard to describe them, and for me it's not exactly too easy to make a video like this because I don't think I'm that good at this type of reviews. Um, Unless I sit down and I plan them for a long time and I make them, I don't know. I make a script of them, which I'm not. I'm just doing this out of my, you know, uh, I don't know. This really, I don't even know how I can say it. Just me sitting here in front of the mic and trying to express exactly what I felt the first 2 times I see Castlevania Season 2. Yeah, I have seen it twice already, and I think by the time I finish making this video, I may rewatch it again. But I've been also playing Curse of Darkness a lot, and yeah. So I did really love. Well, it was cool that they also added Carmilla as one of the characters, even if I hated, you know, like as you can expect, she will turn to be a backstabbing bitch, and that's exactly what she did. You can tell that Hector was feeling a little bit, of just a little bit of a sort of, I don't know, I guess respect or feeling a little bit like she was kind of gaining a little bit of his trust, and then she did such a fucking low backstabbing super con move to him. I didn't like at all that part when it's not like Hector was begging her not to kill him, but he was kind of like she really did humiliate the fuck out of him, but mostly because she put this chain when Hector got tied into the floor and Hector couldn't do anything at all. But I would have preferred if Hector were more like go ahead and kill me, you damn bitch. Um, but instead he was a little bit more like, okay, I am accepting being, you know, controlled by you. Take me wherever you want. I don't know. That felt a little bit like I don't know. If you see the Hector from the video game, he will be way more arrogant about that, you know. But either way, it did fuck me up, that ending. It did make me feel bad. Um, Same way with the last fight, Belmont, Seifer, Alucard confronting Dracula for the last time. That moment was supposed to be super climatic, right? And also it was really awesome to hear classic music in the background. Like I think they put Bloody Tears, and I think also was Vampire Killer in the background too. But yeah, it's iconic music from the classic Bania music that will live forever. And every time you hear the music, it doesn't matter how shitty your day is or how bad you feel, it will put a smile on your face to hear that. So listening to music in a moment like that from classic Castlevania, it will totally make you happy, like really happy. So in that moment, you are like, oh my god, yes, this is truly Castlevania, right? So I thought that the final battle of Dracula was good, even if it felt incomplete. As I said before, he's a totally different boss fight in when you see um, Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3. He has three different faces and three different forms, unlike in this animated series, which he was only being just Dracula and that's it. By the way, if you see the background right now, this random clip of Skyrim, this is my roleplay of Hector, the Devil Forge Master, and I'm having a series of him. The playlist is in my gaming channel, this channel. So if you feel curious, please do watch it. I already had like 3 episodes so far, but I want to make a full series of him. At least two in the main game, and it's very fun to play with this character because he can do a lot of conjurations, and of course he's just a Elder Scroll take from Hector. He's not as great looking as he looked in the game or in the series, but hey, I'm doing what I can. It's still partially vanilla Skyrim, so of course I have a lot of limitations. But anyway, going back into the Dracula fight, the moment when he fought Alucard, and they got this brutal, epic fight where you pretty much you see Dracula about to kill everyone in there, and the only moment when you see Dracula feeling pain is when he got the vampire killer in the face. And that's the only moment when Dracula felt a lot of pain right there, and you can tell. Also, in relation to that chain, to that vampire killer chain, it was really good. That moment in the archive where Trevor retrieved the new vampire killer that will be like the ultimate chain, right? When he find it in the chest, and then when you see him staring at the portrait of Leon Belmont, and he looked just like as how we remember him in the game. Um, that was another very very awesome moment to see that Trevor staring at the portrait and meditating about it. Um, but yeah, also well the fight of Dracula, it was brutal, and there was this moment when Dracula was about to kill Alucard, and then he pushed him through a wall and goes into another room, and then Dracula sees that this is the room, like this is Alucard's room when he was a child, and then that given a vision of mercy and reflection into Dracula's black heart, and he's like, wow, I'm killing my own son, and he started talking to Lisa, like saying, "What the hell are we doing? What I'm doing? This is so wrong." And then, in that moment, and moments like that, is when he really sounds like the Lord of Shadow version of Dracula. That one that he still has a big human heart inside, and for that, I really love this version of Dracula. Well, I mean, if you see the Dracula in the cover of Castlevania Chronicles, it looks exactly like that. Um, but also at the same time, the personality, the even I don't know. It was like a mix of different Draculas into one. But I did love that he had more of that Gabriel Belmont Dracula inside him. I love to see that. That he was a very emotional being. That he's not just a vicious killing machine. Um, so that moment, when he started to cry and he's like, "Please just kill me, Alucard. I don't deserve to exist." It's pretty much the way the series put it. It was a very impactful moment to me. Well, if you've seen that in Lord of the Shadow 2, there is a very similar moment too with Dracula when he just go and get impaled by Alucard's sword and he jump into the sword. He's like, push that thing through my chest. And it was a very, very similar moment to that. Like, it totally gave me the flashback of that, which I like because that's one of my favorite moments in that game. Um, but but yeah, I mean, also, well, the moment, the aftermath. There is a whole episode after all that, which it felt really nice because it's not just ending by them killing Dracula and credits. They gave you a whole episode of just you getting more, feeling more affection for these beloved characters, which I was happy to see that extra episode. And well, it's also very saddening to see how devastated Alucard truly is deep down inside. Like, he doesn't show it to the end, but the whole time he feels broken inside for the absence of his parents, and for how destroyed his world is about what happened to his parents. His dad become pretty much the devil himself, a devil that has to be opposed and defeated, and his mother, well, got destroyed by mankind just because she was accused of being something different than the others. So you see that that they also did a good job showing the lament inside Alucard's heart, that deep down inside, just like Hector, they're both are very saddened characters. They feel this very deep depression. So they truly they are gothic characters. So I can totally relate with that too, in a lot of ways. Because I know I'm not the happiest person in the world. So, I mean, I love what I love, but I think the vast majority of people, we all have this sadness inside, and those that say they don't have it, well, either they hide it really well, or I don't know, they pretend that they don't have it. But anyway, again, I'm really, really happy for this new season. Happy to see Hector back. And for the most part, I would say that this was a real masterpiece for the universe of the Castlevania. Please go and watch it if you have it. it is great, and it is better than anything else I can say for now.